The last class we left our discussion in this problem, that is example number 3.4. So in that we have solved the first part, that is how high will the ball rise. So to understand or to solve that, we have drawn this diagram. So wherein this block here denotes the multi-story building. So the height of this building is 25 meters. So from this building the ball has been thrown upwards with the velocity v is equals to u is equals to 20 meters per second, and when this ball reaches this point, the velocity of the ball will become 0, and if the velocity of this ball is 0, then ball will fall to the ground. Why the ball will fall to the ground? Because there is an acceleration due to gravity that is acting on the body, that is in this direction. So g can be given as g is equals to 10 meters per second square. So here y is the total height, that is height of the building plus height from the building which ball has went. So if you need only this height, so if the height of this building, let's suppose, is y0, then the height of this AB will be y. So here is the y minus this y0. So this here is y0. So if you subtract y0 from y, you will get this distance. So that was for first question. The question was how high will the ball rise. So for that we have solved the problem. Then we got y minus y0 is equals to 20 meters. So this answer is for the first part. Now the second, that is for B, solution for the second question can be done in two ways. Like I will follow one method, and there is one more method which is given in your textbook. You can go through the textbook and try to solve the first method. So in this lecture I will use the second method. So in this method, so the total time taken can be calculated by nothing the coordinates of initial and final position of the body with respect to the origin chosen and using equation. So here, so we know the initial and final position. So y is equals to y0 plus ut plus half at square equation can be used. So y0, so initial position of the body was y0 is equals to 25 meters from the ground. So here ground is origin. So y is what? So the final position of the ball was at the ground. So y will be 0 meters. And acceleration due to gravity is how much? Minus 10 meters per second square. So the initial velocity of the body or ball was 20 meters per second. So if you substitute all these values in the equation that we have here, what you will get? 0 is equals to 25 plus 20 multiplied by t plus half, which is again multiplied by 10 meters per second square, and this is t square. So there is a t square here, so t square here. So now if you try to write it again, 20t, so 2 1s 2 5s minus 5t square. So there is a power 2 here. So if I send this term to this side, 5t square minus 20t minus 25 is equals to 0. So now if you solve this equation, then you will get what? You will get the time t. So let us solve this quadratic equation. So if you divide this equation by 5, then what you will get? 5 1s 5 4s 5 5s. So t square minus 4t minus 5 is equals to 0. So you again have the quadratic equation. So here is minus 40. So if you write factors, so 5 ones are 5. So you need minus 40. If you substitute minus here, then minus 5 plus 1 will give you minus 4. So t square minus 5t plus t minus 5 is equals to 0. So if you take t common here, t minus 5 plus 1 common from this, t minus 5 is equals to 0. So now t plus 1 is 0, t minus 5 is 0. So t here is minus 1 seconds, t here is 5 seconds. So this is the time taken for a body to hit the ground. So you cannot use t is equals to minus 1 seconds. So this you cannot use because the time here is in negative. You cannot use this value of t. So the required value of t is equals to 5 seconds. So the ball will take 5 seconds to hit the ground. Now let us understand another topic of this chapter, that is relative So this is again a important concept to understand. So when two objects move in a straight line, so let's suppose there are two objects, object A and object B. If they move in a straight line, we compare their motion in terms of their relative velocity. So there is a body A which is moving in a straight line, and there is another body B which is again moving in a straight line. So to compare their motion, we have introduced one more term, that is relative velocity. Now let us understand what is relative velocity. Relative velocity means velocity of one object with respect to other object. So if you see this definition clearly, it says relative velocity means velocity of one object with respect to the other object. So let's suppose we have two objects here, A and B. So if you define the velocity of B with respect to A, then there is a relative velocity. So you can also define the velocity of A with respect to B. So this is the definition for the relative velocity of an object. So now consider two trains. So there are two trains. So let's suppose this is train A and this is train B. So these two trains are moving in a straight line in two straight and parallel tracks with the same speed and in same direction. So the direction of these two trains is same. So same direction and same speed. So these two trains, train A and train B, are moving in a parallel tracks in same direction and in same speed. So if you see both these trains with respect to the ground, then you can see the motion of the trains. So if there is an observer in train A, then if he sees the another passenger in train B, then he may feel that this train appearing as it is there. So he may feel that this train is not moving at all. This train is rest. So, but when you see both these trains with respect to ground, then you can clearly say these two trains are moving. So, but for an observer in train A, this train appears as if it is not moving. So now, in this case, relative velocity of one train with respect to the observer in the other train is 0. So the relative velocity of one train with respect to the observer in the other train is 0. It is 0 because both these trains are moving in same direction and they are moving in the same speed. So if a passenger in train A observes train B, then this train B for him appears as if it is not moving. So next is, so again there are two trains, train A and train B. So these two are moving in the same direction, but here the velocities are not equal. So moving in same direction, but the velocity of train A is not equals to velocity of train B. So in that case, the relative velocity of one train with respect to our observer in the another train is smaller than its velocity with respect to ground. So here the relative velocity of one train with respect to the observer in the other train is smaller than what? Than its velocity with respect to ground. So now you have again the two trains. These two trains are moving in the same direction, but the velocity of train A is not equals to the velocity of train B. So in that case, what will happen to the relative velocity? So the relative velocity of one train, of this train, with respect to the observer in the other train is smaller. So it is smaller in comparison to what? In comparison to its velocity with respect to ground. So now let's suppose there is another point. So if there are again two trains, train A and train B. So in this case, these two trains are moving in opposite direction. If this train moves in this direction, then the direction for the train B is opposite to the direction of train A. So now in this case, what will happen to the relative velocity? The velocity of one train with respect, so if the velocity of one train with respect to the observer in another train is greater than its velocity with respect to ground. So the relative velocity So what's happening here? Here the velocity of the one train is appearing as if it is greater than the velocity of it with respect to the ground. So here we saw three cases. So first, when two trains, train A and train B, moving in the same direction and same speed, then the relative velocity of train 1 with respect to observer in the other train is 0. So the second point was, so there are two trains again, but the direction of the two trains are same, whereas the velocity of one train is, or velocity of train A is not equals to velocity of train B. So in that case, our question is, what happens to the relative velocity? So the relative velocity of one train with respect to the other train is smaller in comparison to what? In comparison to the velocity of that train with respect to ground. So the third point was, there are again two trains, train A and train B. So here the direction of the train A is not or the direction of train A is opposite to the direction of train B. So in that case, the velocity of one train with respect to other appears greater than its velocity with respect to the ground. So let's suppose if you have two trains again, train A, train B. So you have train A and train B. So if the velocity of train A is VA and velocity of train B is VB, if these two are moving in a straight line in same direction, so they are moving in a straight line in same direction, then velocity of train A with respect to train B can be written as relative velocity VR, which is equals to VA minus VB. So whenever you have two bodies which are moving in the same direction with velocity VA and VB, then the relative velocity is just the difference between the velocity of first body and the velocity of second body. Here the statement is velocity of train A with respect to train B. Now if these two trains are moving in opposite direction, so this is for train A, train B, if these two are in opposite direction, then what will happen to the velocity of A with respect to the velocity of B? Since these two are in opposite direction, the relative velocity will get added up, VA plus VB. So the direction of relative velocity is same as the direction of the train A. So the direction for VR in this case will be in the direction of train A. So whenever the two trains are in opposite direction, the relative velocity is the sum of velocity of first train and the velocity of second train. So if the two trains are moving in the same direction with velocity VA and VB, then VR can be given as VA minus VB. So now let us consider these, or let us understand these three cases in a graphical manner or with the graphs. So consider two objects again, A and B. So these two objects are moving uniformly with average velocities VA and VB. So what is happening here? There are two objects A and B. they are moving uniformly with average velocity VA and VB. So these two objects are moving in a straight line. So we can say the direction or the dimension for this problem will be one dimension. So we can select x-axis for the motion of these two bodies. Now if the position of A at time t is equals to 0 can be, so at time t is equals to 0, the position of A can be written as xa0 and the position of B can be written as xb0. Now what will happen to their position at time t is equals to t? If time t is equals to t, then position of xa will be xat and the xb will be xb of t. So we have two objects which are moving uniformly with average velocities. So at time t is equals to 0, the position of A is xa0 and the position of B is xb0. At time t is equals to t, the position of A is xat and the position of B is xbt. So now from this data we can write xat can be equals to what? xa0 plus vat, or xbt is equals to what? xb of 0 plus vbt. Why? Average velocity is what? It is the ratio of displacement of a body to the time interval. So if va can be written as xt minus x0 divided by t, then from that equation we can write xa and xb. So then displacement from object A to object B can be written as how? So the displacement from object A to object B can be written as xbat, which is equals to xb of t minus xa of t. So here you have xa and xb, substitute that here. What is xb? xb is xb0 plus vbt minus what is xa? xa0 plus vat. Now let us do the variable separation. So xb0 minus xa0 plus vbt minus vat. So I can write this as xb0 minus xa0 plus, so vb minus va, which is multiplied by t. So this gives the displacement of object A to object B.